The Cleveland Cavaliers took Game 7 in Detroit last night and have moved on to the Eastern Conference Finals. We're here to break down the ECF in 2026 here on From the Nosebleeds. Let's go. Knicks, Cavs.
I feel like this is a series
maybe?
we've been wanting for a while. A series we've been talking about for a minute. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, I thought it was kind of funny. I should have mentioned this on another episode, but if you look at it, every matchup from Christmas Day this year occurred in the playoffs, but one, and that one was the Mavs and the Warriors. So it's kind of funny that was even there, because just you got two jokes of teams right now, and then the rest are playoff matchups like Rockets, Lakers, obviously Cavs, Knicks, Thunder, Spurs, Wolves, Nuggets. What a slate from Adam Silver. Just, you know what? I rarely praise Adam Silver, but hey, hats off to him, man. That was an incredible Christmas Day slate. Back to Cavs Knicks. This is a series that I feel like has been wanted for a while. Like, a lot of people last year thought that the Cavs were going to advance over the Pacers to play the Knicks in the conference finals. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell from New York, huge Mets guy. There's been a lot of rumors about him returning to New York before he got traded to Cleveland. You know, he's Spider-Man. Spider-Man's from New York. Like, that's why he's nicknamed Spider. Like, there's a lot of lore between these two teams, a lot of connections, and I think it's good basketball. Then that's what you want at the end of the day. You want the best two teams in a conference playing, and Detroit in Game 7 clearly showed they were not one of the best basketball teams in the Eastern Conference. I mean, that was an embarrassing performance. I want to start by talking about Game 7. I mean, wow, what a performance from the Cavs. I'm probably the most critical guy, like one of the more critical guys of Donovan Mitchell out there, but I felt his performance in Game 7, you know, he lived up to his name. He lived up to expectations, not just as a scorer, but more as a facilitator even to start out the game. Like, he got Allen involved, he got Mobley involved, and when you get the two bigs rolling, just how can you beat the Cavs? If you have two bigs rolling and one of Harden and Mitchell rolling, it's hard. And then Sam Merrill, however you pronounce it, just caught fire throughout the game. It felt like I saw somebody comparing it to Buddy Hield's performance in Game 7 from last year against the Rockets, which I wouldn't say it was quite that great, but it was still an awesome performance from Sam Merrill. And yeah, a lot more to talk about with the Pistons. I have a lot of takes about them. I'm very intrigued to talk about their offseason, but we'll have a whole episode for that later. So I just want to shout out the Cavs, because that was an incredible performance. Not to mention the fact that it was away from home, and they had only won one other game on the road in this entire postseason up until that point. So just a statement game from them. It was a legacy game for Donovan Mitchell, and he followed up. He followed through. So let's see what this team has in the finals, or the conference finals.
I think my biggest takeaway isn't about the Cavs, because I think I picked the Cavs. We both picked the Cavs to the conference finals. So that wasn't even a shock to me, but it was the way in which they did it. But looking at the flip side, it was Detroit's, like, did I think that the Cleveland Cavaliers were going to get to this conference finals in the manner that they did? Probably not. 7 games probably, but it was like a dominant 7 games in the way that you said the Spurs dominated the Wolves in 6. It really doesn't feel like Detroit had a chance anywhere in the series, even though they had a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, I was going to say, when they went up 2-0, I thought the series was over. But
I didn't think it was over at all. I had my worries still about Detroit. Like, it's the same worries I've had about them all season long. I've talked about it over and over and over again. It's the shooting and the lackluster style of offense that they play. Cade Cunningham cannot get it done on his own right now. Like, that's not even a shade to Cade Cunningham. He's a great player, top 10 maybe in the league right now. But as it goes, and every team that you build that's great, you need a side man to go along with him. Tobias Harris is that. Jalen Duren you thought was that, and he was not that at all. And then who else is outside of that? Asar Thompson is there for defense. His offense is lackluster. Unless he gets that up, I'm going to be talking about that.
Dennis Jenkins?
Denise Jenkins, is that your second option at that point in the offense?
Marcus Sasser?
In a Game 7. Marcus Sasser, Ron Holland.
I love Marcus Sasser, bro. I'm so glad he got minutes, but hey, he cannot be your second option or a guy you
Exactly,
rely
dude.
on like that.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about the Pistons as we go on into their offseason preview way later down the road. But I think my biggest takeaway right now is that the Pistons need to fire JB Bickerstaff, and my reasoning for that is Bickerstaff was the coach of the Cavs for years, or not really years, but a couple years ago.
Yeah,
He was the coach of the Cavs, took him to a game seven, couldn't get out the second round. They fired him. Brought in Kenny Atkinson. They were the one seed last year after an amazing start, and now they're in the Eastern Conference Finals and just beat the coach that they fired 2 years ago. Like, if you're Detroit, you have to look at that blueprint. Your current head coach, who was the former coach of the team you just lost to in Game 7, like, needs to go. That's like my consensus. I don't know really how to word that, but if it makes sense,
yeah.
it makes sense.
No. I get it. I get it. I thought that was an underrated storyline of the series. Like I don't think enough people talk about that, but
Yeah,
I kind of have a few things I'd like to bounce off you. Like for one, I think it was reasonable to say the series was over after 2-0. I mean, if you watch those first two Cavs performances, I think it was
that
very
is
fair to
true.
say that. Like I'm not the biggest Pistons believer by any stretch of the mind, any stretch of the matter, but watching the Cavs in game 1 and 2, it was awful. It was bad basketball. They looked unenthused. They looked uninterested, and it was sloppy basketball. Which a lot of the series was sloppy basketball from both teams,
Oh,
but
yeah.
still, I digress. I think JB Bickerstaff should be fired at some point. I feel like he's just a stepping stone coach. I feel like he's a coach to get you there, but he's not going to get you over the hump. And I'll gladly be proven wrong on that, but that's just the way I see it right now. And I feel like the Pistons, they obviously broke through their ceiling or their supposed glass ceiling like of last year. They won 60 games. It's incredible, but I feel like JB Bickerstaff could go and they could bring in another coach to take this team to the next level, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
The
Now,
way I see
second
it right
option,
now,
it's so obvious that Cade needs a second option. Cade needs a secondary ball handler, just anyone to release the pressure off him. Uh, right now, I've been trying to brainstorm for who that could be, and I don't have a lot of great ideas because one that gets floated around there is a lot is Devin Booker, but that just makes no sense. Uh, One, what are they going to send back to Phoenix that isn't Asar Thompson? Because you think Phoenix is going to take Jalen Duren? Yeah, man. Uh, I don't know. It's
even Detroit would take on 60 million. Probably not.
70. It's 70
Or
million.
70.
Just want 70 million 3 years in a row AAV, which is just ridiculous, especially for a player of like no, not even shade to Book, but for a player of his evaluation, 70 million is ridiculous. You're not doing that if you're
You're paying for the. It's almost like you're just paying because like the quote unquote intangibles of the contract. Like
yeah
Booker's like the face of the valley right now. That's what you're paying for.
yeah like I don't love I don't like the fit of Donovan Mitchell there either. Obviously, I don't think he's going anywhere after they won this series, but I don't like that fit regardless. And I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about the Pistons. We're gonna
Yeah.
have a whole episode on them to talk about them, but a lot needs to be done this offseason. They're nowhere near OKC or San Antonio right now, which is crazy to say as they won 60 games. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the Thunder and Spurs. I know regular season doesn't mean anything, but both the Thunder and Spurs went 4-0 or went 2-0 against the Pistons. I know we went 2-0,
I
and I
don't think the Thunder
remember
lost to the Pistons either.
exactly. I remember at least them beating them once. I don't remember the
Yeah.
second time they played them, but
Yeah.
regardless, this team does not feel in the same tier as the Thunder or the Spurs. I think you could say that they might not even be in the same tier as the Knicks. I don't know.
I
That's
don't
a
think so.
difficult conversation, but the Knicks are in the conference finals for the second year in a row, and the Pistons are not. So that says a lot, I'd
Yeah.
say.
Speaking about the Knicks and the Eastern Conference Finals, let's get down to that. Knicks, Cavs. Obviously, you said this is exactly what people have been hyping up for. It feels like the past couple of years. It felt like last year was the year it was going to happen, like you said. Indiana obviously had other ideas for that, but now we get it. New York, MSG is hosting the conference finals again for second straight year in a row. Let's just get out the way. New York's the hottest team in the league right now. I don't think that's really a question about it. Yeah, you had two bad games against the Hawks, but we saw what they did towards the end of that series, smoked them by damn near 60. And then the Philly series felt like it was a 60-point blowout every single game. So this New York team is hot. Obviously not OKC's level of undefeated in the playoffs yet, or obviously, but uh, better competition. Also, like I don't know. It just they're the best team on offense in the playoffs right now, and they're second best team in defense right now, and overall they're the first best in terms of net rating in the playoffs, and it's by some margin too. Like even you can say even San Antonio. I think New York's probably a hotter team than San Antonio right now. And then Cleveland too. You want to talk about being hot? Yeah, they won 4 of their last 5 games going into the conference finals right now. So against the one team in Detroit. So Zach, my question for you is: how does New York or how does Cleveland, whichever one you want to talk about, how does one or the other scheme against the other team in terms of how hot the other team is?
I think the series, just one underrated aspect of it. I wanted to talk about this before I get into your question, but the Knicks have been sitting for over a week now, a week,
Yeah.
and actually a week to be exact. It'll be 9 days, I believe, by the time they play,
Mm-hmm.
which I think that's a bit of an underrated point because teams can get hot, teams can get cold in that. Honestly, probably should have mentioned it in the OKC side of things, but honestly, I trust the Thunder a lot more than the Knicks. But can the Knicks maintain that level of play? Now, I think they will, but I think it's a question that seriously has to be asked from everyone. Is this more of a scheme thing for the Knicks, which I think it is, or were they just hot at the right time? Now, getting into the matchup, I'm really excited to see how the bigs play because right now, I would say Karl Anthony Towns has been arguably the second best player this postseason. Obviously, I'm going to say Wemby has been the best player this postseason by quite a margin, especially if you remove the. All right.
Sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
Especially if you remove the 2 games in which he was concussed and played half a game, or got ejected and played a quarter. If you remove those 2 games, Wemby has by far been the best player in this postseason. Now, I don't want to tie everything back to him, but I think Karl Anthony Towns has been that good. I think Karl Anthony Towns has been comparable, and that's just something that wasn't prevalent at all last year. Like I feel like Karl Anthony Towns was not involved enough in last year's playoff run, and it looked to be that way through the first 3 games of the Hawks series when the Hawks went up 2-1 on the Knicks. God,
Mm-hmm.
that feels like ages ago because this
It
Knicks
really
team has
does,
hit a
dude.
completely different gear since then. But a big decision that turned them around from being down 2-1 was Mike Brown putting an emphasis on Karl Anthony Towns and getting Cat involved. And that really swung the series. That swung the team's momentum. And I want to see if that can keep up against Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, who in their own right have been playing great in throughout the games in this postseason, especially in Game 7. Shout out Jared Allen. Shout out Evan Mobley too. Evan Mobley played great as well. But I'm looking forward to the battle of the bigs.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think I'm looking forward to that as well. But I think in contrast to the Western Conference Finals, where we're looking at a main matchup of the bigs, I think I'm really looking at the battle of the guards. I think I've talked about this a lot on the show. I love guard play, especially in the playoffs. I think that's my biggest value. And we have Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell, who you can say what you want about both of them, but they are here in the Eastern Conference Finals, and one of them is going to be playing in the finals in a couple weeks' time. So you can say what you want, but this is what I'm looking at right now. Obviously, Brunson's probably going to be matched up against Spida. I don't know. Probably not, actually. I don't know who's going to be matched up. Whatever. But it's which of these guards can elevate their team offensively because Cleveland, Donovan Mitchell is a big time reason why they're here. James Harden was traded here and has not had the impact in the playoffs that most people would have thought, and especially in that game 7 last night, where a lot of the times in James Harden's career, game 7 was his kryptonite. Well, it was like that again last night, but thank God he had a team surrounding him of Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen, because if he didn't, that would have been very bad, and the Detroit probably would have not lost by 30 and probably would have won that game anyways. So I'm looking at that, the guard play in this series. Mitchell and Harden versus really Brunson, but it really just feels like Brunson and Mitchell because Harden's kind of like that. Whatever. He's not really the
I
main
don't
guy
know. I don't
anymore.
know. I kind of disagree there. I feel like James Harden's had a better playoff than Donovan Mitchell. Just Donovan Mitchell's been had one of his worst playoffs to date. He's never really been that great of a playoff performer. I'd say, like, obviously the stats look great, but this is his first time making the conference finals for a reason.
Yeah,
Because
that's
what
true.
does he contribute when he doesn't score? And he hasn't been scoring efficiently this postseason. And when he's in one of those nights, he doesn't bring anything to your basketball team because he doesn't play defense. He doesn't. He's not a playmaker. Doesn't grab boards like that. So it's hard to find value in Donovan Mitchell for me when he's having an off night. Whereas James Harden at least brings something. And
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think this has been Harden's greatest postseason, but I just disagree with the take that Donovan Mitchell has been better than James Harden.
Yeah, okay, that is true. I think I did. Okay, maybe I overstate that a little bit, but I think the reason they're here in the conference finals is largely in part because of the Game Seven, obviously that Donovan Mitchell had, and if James Harden didn't have that, or if James Harden played like he did in Game Seven, then they're not here. But that does go back
Yeah,
to
well,
the point that I made.
it goes both ways though. It goes both ways.
That is true. But this is to go back to the point that I made all postseason and heading into it too, that James Harden does not need to be the primary scorer, and that is going to continue to be like that in these conference finals as well. If Kenny Atkinson and the Cavs trust Donovan Mitchell to have that kind of performance where he can score the ball at will, like he is kind of meant to do as a player right now. If he continues to do that, then obviously James Harden does not need to be like that. But I think if you are the Cavs, you want at least 2 or 3 games where Harden scores 20, 25 points and also contributes those 7 rebounds and 10 or 11 assists. But like that's where my worry lies is the Game 7 just lies in my head, and he hasn't been to a conference final since 2018 with the Rockets. Is that right?
Yeah.
So these are probably the biggest games of James Harden's career in a while, which feels weird to say. Um, I don't know. This series kind of just has a lot of weird storylines on it, dude. Like you can even talk about the Knicks side. It's like if New York doesn't win, a lot of questions be raised there. More questions than there already are with or surrounding, the defense of Brunson and Cat and how much are they going to really work together? Which one do you ship off or which one do you keep? Like all that kind of stuff. And then obviously the Cavs side, if they don't get past the conference finals and they don't make it to the finals, a lot of uncomfortable conversations have to be had about Donovan Mitchell if there already aren't already. What happens with the two bigs? Do you keep Allen? Do you move him off? What happens with Harden now? Like he was kind of here for a 1 year thing. Does that happen? Do you bring him back? All this kind of stuff. So a lot of weird storylines around. But I mean, yeah, interesting final or interesting conference finals. He said.
Yeah. Uh, let's just get in the picks. I mean, I went first last time. What's your take of the series?
Um, for me, it's hard. Again, a lot of interesting storylines, but for me, like I said in the first or in the Western Conference preview, I pick a Thunder in 7 because of the home court advantage. I think that is a big thing down the line here in every playoff you'll ever see ever. Home court advantage is a real thing, and MSG is going to be once again. Cleveland, I know, absolutely has a great fan base and home court advantage there, but it is MSG. Now,
Well, especially against the Cavs team that struggled on the road. Not to take away
exactly.
from your
No,
point, but
absolutely. That is a great point. The Cavs team has struggled on the road, given their 2 biggest wins of the playoffs were Game 5 and Game 7 on the road in the last series. But they have struggled a lot on the road. Games 1 and 2 of last series, and then everything in the first round too. Um, but I'm gonna take New York. I'm actually gonna shout out Preston Rab. Shout out New York. Had to grab it. Had to whip it out. We're
you
rocking
had
New
to whip it out
York.
for Preston.
Had to whip it out for Preston. Resume. Um, we're going New York here. I just don't think
How many games?
how many games? I think 6. I think they win the first 2. I think Cleveland probably wins the next 2, and then I think New York wins the next 2. I really think that's what it comes down to. I think they're gonna have a 3-2 lead going into Cleveland in Game 6, and it comes down to I feel like I trust Jalen Brunson more than Donovan Mitchell as a scorer. And then the rest of the team looking at it, New York's defense, you know, outside of Cat and Brunson, but Bridges, Hart, and Anobi, all these guys play with a lot of heart, and they have a massive chip on their shoulder after losing last year. And, the city of New York is behind them, and everybody on the team, as much as they love to play in New York, and like, it's probably one of the premier destinations to play in the league, nobody is guaranteed if they lose this series. Nobody's guaranteed to come back
Yeah,
next year if they lose this series.
yeah,
So all of them are playing with a chip on their shoulder that they are scared that they're going to be out of a job, basically, in one of the best markets in the league. So I think that's a big part. And Cleveland, as much as I want to see them go to the finals, I just don't think that this team is really like built for it. I don't think they have the same chip or the same mentality that New York's going to have. And obviously, I think you want to talk about New York being hot at the right time. And yes, they have been sitting out for a couple, a week and a half, it feels like, or maybe more, a little more than a week. But what that also comes with is preparation. This Cleveland team has had one night to prepare for this New York team, while New York has been scheming against both Detroit and Cleveland, depending on who was going to win that series. So they've had time to prepare. I think they have the scheme to take down that double big lineup with Mobley and Allen. I think they have what it takes to, get it going, have those bigger and more meaningful runs on offense towards the end of the games, especially at home. And if MSG gets rocking, it's not going to stop until they win that series. So I'm going with New York. Shout out Preston Rev.
yeah, yeah. This series has been a lot simpler than the Western Conference Finals to me. Regardless of who won, I was going to pick the Knicks. I think they're the hottest team in basketball right now. I am worried that maybe that over a week off will come back to bite them a bit in game one, but I think they'll shake off that rust pretty fast. I think this series goes 6 games. I think the Knicks win it in 6. There's a few different ways this could go. I lean towards the Knicks go up 3-1. Cleveland wins a must-win game 3, gives them some hope. Knicks win game 4. Game 5, Cleveland gets a desperation win at MSG, and then the Knicks close it out on the road, because it would be too fairy tale in my books for New York to clinch going to the finals on MSG, or in MSG. That would be, cinema. So I think Cleveland's going to.
That'd be world ending.
Yeah, Cleveland will break their hearts in game 5. That's kind of my prediction. But the Knicks win the series. I'm just too confident in them. It's a bit odd to say, because I feel like guard play is supposed to be the strength of this Cavs team. Obviously, you have James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. You should be confident, but I'm just not. I worry about their ability. They've been inconsistent throughout this postseason. It's always one's on, one or the other's on, or neither are on, and that's just not a way to live. They're not consistent from game to game in this postseason. One game, Cleveland's offense looks great. Another game, their defense looks great. Never both. I think the closest we've seen to both was last night against the Pistons. And I guess that should lend hope, but I don't have faith in this Cavs team. I was honestly going in today, I was thinking Knicks in 5, but that seems too sweet for this Cleveland team, so I'm going to go 6. But regardless, I don't see a world where the Knicks lose this series. I just want to say that.
Yeah, I can really see it going 5-2. I really think this New York team can win the first 3, and then Cavs get a desperation win, and then Knicks
Yeah,
close out in 5, or they run the Lakers versus Rockets route. They go up 3, and then take 2 off, and then win in game 6. But regardless, the Knicks are going to win. And what is really cool to me to just think about as a basketball fan is one of the Knicks or the Cavs will be in playoffs, and I feel like that's just such a good thing for the sport of basketball. No matter who you're rooting for, no matter what you're thinking of, especially the Knicks in the finals, I think that'd be so awesome to see. Um, that'd be just so cool, dude. As much as people want to give hate to the Knicks and all this kind of stuff, the organization they are, it'd just be so cool to see the Knicks back in the finals, man.
Run back 99. Run back 99.
Run back.
Exact results too.
Damn,
Exact
chill,
results.
bro.
Run back 99.
Hey, man. Run back 99. That'd be fire. But I don't know. Whatever it is going to be, these conference finals are going to be such a fun matchup to watch. I really think this Cavs squad can give the Knicks a run for the money in some parts. In some places you'll see it, but MSG is going to be bumping tomorrow night. It is Monday now, but yeah, this video is going to be posted tomorrow, which is Tuesday. We're talking about this on Monday, but I'm excited for this one. Zach, any final takes on MSG might create a new sort of thing. I don't know what I was going to say.
I don't know what you're going to say either, so I don't know how to really respond to it. But it should be a fun series. I'm looking forward to this deeply. I hope they make it a series. I really want the Cavs to make it a series, but my intake is I just don't see a world where the Knicks lose. That's it.
Ferris, I'm in the same boat. We'll be watching every single game of this series at home. We'll give you updates game to game, hearing from the nosebleeds. Eastern Conference Finals weekend, or weeks, whatever you want to call it, are upon us. What a time to be a basketball fan. If you're not tuned in, tune in now.
What are you doing?
If you don't want to, stay over there. Stay on that side. We don't want you over here. But we're excited to be watching with y'all. We'll be covering it game by game this entire week and next week too. But for now, I'm from Nosebleeds. I'm Cole Frere. Not a Knicks fan. Just picked them to win the series. That's Zach Durasic. Go watch our Western Conference Finals breakdown. He's a Spurs fan. He glazed them a lot.
I
on the
honestly
flip side, we appreciate all the support from Nosebleeds out. Peace.